In the small town of Ada, Oklahoma, in 1984, a shocking crime rocked the community. 3 young men, Ron Williamson, Dennis Fritz, and Tommy Ward, were accused of the assault and murder of Deborah Sue Carter, a cocktail waitress. The case became one of the most infamous wrongful convictions in American history and a testament to the impact of famous legal documentaries. It all began on a hot summer night when Deborah Sue Carter was found murdered in her apartment. The local police were under immense pressure to solve the case swiftly. They arrested Ron Williamson and Dennis Fritz, 2 acquaintances of Carter's who had been in a nearby bar on the night of the murder. The evidence against Williamson and Fritz was flimsy at best. There was no physical evidence tying them to the crime scene, and their alibis were supported by witnesses. However, their defense attorneys were inexperienced, and the prosecution relied heavily on the coerced confessions of the defendants, extracted during grueling interrogations. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, Williamson and Fritz were convicted in separate trials. Ron Williamson, in particular, received the death penalty due to his supposed involvement. The small town's thirst for justice had been quenched, but a dark cloud of doubt loomed over the convictions. Years passed, and the case might have been forgotten if not for a relentless group of individuals, including investigative journalist John Grisham. Grisham, known for his legal thrillers, became deeply involved in the case after reading about it in a newspaper. He was convinced that the 2 men were innocent and that their plight was a stark example of the flaws in the justice system. Grisham's involvement marked the beginning of a legal odyssey that would change the lives of Williamson and Fritz. He started investigating the case, talking to witnesses, and unearthing evidence that had been ignored during the original trial. His findings formed the basis of his nonfiction book, The Innocent Man. The book created a sensation and shed light on the injustices faced by the wrongfully convicted. It was a turning point not only for the case, but also for the broader public awareness of the flaws within the criminal justice system. People across the country began questioning the integrity of the legal system, and calls for the release of Williamson and Fritz grew louder. In 1999, after spending over a decade in prison, Ron Williamson was exonerated and released from death row. Dennis Fritz, too, was eventually exonerated, and both men were found to be completely innocent of the crime for which they had been wrongfully convicted. Their release was a triumph of perseverance and the power of legal documentaries to uncover the truth. The impact of The Innocent Man extended far beyond the exoneration of Williamson and Fritz. The book was adapted into a documentary series in 2018, directed by Clay Tweel and produced by John Grisham himself. The series delved deeper into the case, exploring the flaws in the justice system that had allowed such a miscarriage of justice to occur. As viewers across the world watched the gripping documentary, they were confronted with the devastating consequences of wrongful convictions. The haunting interviews with Williamson and Fritz, who had spent years behind bars for a crime they did not commit, left a lasting impression on the audience. It was a stark reminder that the pursuit of justice should never come at the cost of innocent lives. Subscribe for more.